And welcome back, everyone, to Spillin' It, the podcast where you get your sports, your pop culture, a whole bunch of stuff you didn't think you cared about and still don't after we talk about it. We are back in business. We had a couple weeks off, had a lot going on in life, but you can tell it's clearly still the winter Christmas time because I've got my Christmas tree behind me. So it couldn't have been that long since we recorded. Jesse, how we doing, my man?
Honestly, couldn't really be doing worse the last couple weeks, but that's neither here nor there. Having some migraine issues, currently have an ear infection in my left ear, but
Join the
just
club,
happy to
brother.
be here. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, you and I have both have had ear issues most of our lives, so
I've had one
you
for like
know,
3 years straight, so you got some
yeah.
catching up to do.
I know. I guess this is the start for me. A nice long odyssey ahead. But yeah, couldn't be doing worse, but just happy to be here.
Well, at least for the next interminable amount of time, probably between 50 minutes to an hour and a half, we're gonna take our minds off of, the troubles of the world because the world do be troubling. We're gonna talk some ball. We've got all sorts of balls, some more like oblong shapes, some round ones. We're gonna talk some pop culture. We've got some fun little pop culture segments today. We've got another edition of our playlist game that hopefully has been popular. I don't know. The one person I talked to that was telling me that they listened, said that they enjoyed it and thought it was fun, and learned during that conversation that they could access our playlists in our Instagram bio. And I was like, that's crazy because we say that every time. But you know, we're getting there. We're building the brand, and then at the end we'll have uh, a couple just random odds and ends that we wanted to get off our chest. But first, we wrote this outline a couple weeks ago, and we were supposed to record naturally. I think we missed 2 weeks,
I think so.
and it was going to be right after the college football national championship. Obviously, some time has passed, and we've all moved on and put that atrocity out of our heads. But I did want to still give Jesse the floor. We're going to probably not do our early 2026 picks. Seems maybe like we could pocket that for later in the summer. But Jesse, I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about this Indiana University football team.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. And quite honestly, I'm checking next to my name to make sure you're not muting me during this, and it's just my empty head over here
Yakety
talking.
Sax just plays for 4.5 minutes while you talk.
Um, but no, it's a pleasant surprise. I shared a Facebook post not too long ago that I think it was when IU beat Purdue in basketball or something a few years ago and they weren't supposed to. And I put on my Facebook something to the effect of like, every now and then Indiana sports does something that doesn't completely disappoint me. That was 3 years ago I posted that. And I was like, if I got to go back in time and tell that version of myself what was about to happen, would not have believed it. So, just regardless of what happens to the program at this point, we have one, and that's something that I think all of us are going to cherish forever that have been rooting for the team, not just within the last couple of years, but like have actually been rooting for the team for a long time. And, just thankful to have one on the belt. Now, I don't have any delusions of, putting us on this, you know, Mount Rushmore of teams all time or anything. I'm just more than anything just thankful to have one under the belt finally and get that ghost out of here.
That's something obviously everybody listening to this probably already knows, but I went to the University of Alabama Roll Tide. I grew up a Notre Dame fan because my grandfather was such a Notre Dame fan, and then my dad went to Purdue. So those have been my rooting interests in college football in my life. Purdue definitely in the IU bucket of it looks so dead in the water, it's not even funny. It was at least like mildly competitive when I was growing up, had a lot
Yeah.
of professional quarterbacks come through Purdue, but when I made my college choice, I pretty much gave up on the ability to have that kind of magical run because at Alabama, we expect to win every year,
Right.
even when we know we're not going to, nor will we. But that's just the expectation, right? I'll never forget my freshman year of college. We lost to Ohio State in the college football playoff. That was the Cardale Jones, Ezekiel Elliott
Oh
year.
my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God, we made the college football playoff. Like, obviously, I was pissed we didn't win, but man, you would have thought somebody died on campus the next day. Everybody was just, it was just, you could feel the difference and it was awful. And so a part of me, I got to watch two teams that of the school that I actively attended win national titles. I got to party on the strip twice for that, and I would never trade that. But I am always going to be a little bit jealous of a run like what Indiana just had because you have absolutely no illusion. Even this year, right? You guys made the playoffs last year and definitely expected to be good, but nobody was saying like, yeah, we're going to
No.
have the first 16-0 season in college football history.
Yeah.
Number one, almost wire to wire, and just well, actually, it's probably less wire to wire because I think it was Ohio State for like 2/3 of the season, and then once y'all
Right.
beat them, then it was. But anyway, you know, that's just a magical run, and I really can't imagine how that feels as a fan. We had a little bit of that in our household. Cheyenne graduated from North Texas, and they very nearly made the playoffs and
They did.
they had their own magical season. Obviously, not quite to the same degree, but it was a really special
No,
season.
incredible year.
It
Incredible.
was so fun. Like I bought in so easily. I already root for her teams, but I bought in so easily because it was so fun.
You
Like
love an
nobody believes
underdog.
in
You always
us,
have.
like we can do it. And so, though I will never forgive them for robbing me of getting to truly enjoy this incredible story. A slight minor tilt to the guys stuck in Bloomington, Indiana for what they achieved this year.
And that's the biggest compliment I think you could have given. And just for the viewers at home to understand where I'm coming from here. When I went to one of the satellite campuses of Indiana, these were the records of the teams I rooted for at the time: 6-7, 6-7, 5-7, 5-7.
Probably
Um,
honestly, like, and I don't mean this derisively, one of the more successful 4 year stretches. Like,
correct, correct. And the 3 years running up to Kurt Signetti's hiring, they were 2-10, 4-8, and 3-9.
that 2-10
Just
was disgusting.
miserable football. They didn't win a single conference game that year. They went 2-10. They went 0-9 in the
Yeah, they
Big
were
Ten.
gross. Very
Just
bad team.
disgusting football happening in Bloomington. So, like I said, I am going to be just thankful more than anything. We'll see what happens with the program from here on out, but at the end of the day, it feels good to be on top.
I think Signetti is so cool. I really
I
like
love
him. I think
him.
he's a hell of a coach, and I think he's just such a cool guy. I don't know, man. You got the transfer portal class coming in.
Mhm. Looks pretty good.
It's really hard because like there's just never even the schools right that finally break through. Like think of like Clemson when Dabo got there.
Hmm.
They were still always had talent, they just
Oh
never
yeah.
won the big games. So it's easy to forecast like, oh, okay, they've gotten it off their shoulders and they still have all these dudes. It's like it's hard, because IU has just never. I mean, their recruiting rankings have never been anywhere anything to like
No,
marvel at. So it's hard. You got to continue to nail that player evaluation. But if anyone's earned the benefit of that doubt, it's
I think he has,
Chris
yeah.
Cicchetti.
All right, well, let's transition from college to the pros. And we originally weren't going to talk about the NFL in this, but because we took some time off here, we
Honestly, it's the
are,
universe being like, you have to talk NFL. We're gonna
well,
make
yeah, yeah, we broke something in our last episode by not talking about it. So we are bumping up to the Super Bowl, and more than anything, I'm very excited, not for the game, but for Bad Bunny. I just love Bad Bunny, and I'm excited for
the
the
Benito
halftime
Bowl.
show. But with that being said, Super Bowl, I'm thinking Seahawks win, and I'm thinking Sam Darnold wins the MVP for this one.
Wow. I definitely think the Seahawks win. I think they win by 10 plus. I actually like the Patriots. I think they're good. I just feel like the Seahawks are uniquely designed to
Hmm.
take away the things that make the Patriots successful. And I think,
Matchup nightmare.
and I swear this isn't homerism, but if we had like a starting quarterback with two ankles, the Broncos would be playing in this game.
Correct. They would have been.
And that's no discredit to the season the Patriots have had. They've earned the right to be there,
Yes.
all season long. I think the Seahawks are that team. Emin Worry being hurt though this week in practice and limited. He's just one guy, but he's kind of unlocks a lot of their coverages. Definitely
Hmm.
something to look at and monitor. I definitely think I said, oh wow, because I wrote Seahawks win by 10 plus. I hadn't really given Super Bowl MVP thought, but I guess in that instance, assuming that it's not some low scoring, like if it's 13-3, then who knows? Truly, all bets are off. Whoever scores the touchdown. But if they score a lot of points, it probably is a Sam Darnold Super Bowl MVP. I don't know. He's had a great season, all credit to
Yeah.
him. I read a tweet recently. And I feel like a lot of our stuff starts with I saw this tweet, but it's true. It like people help you think.
Yeah, yeah, it's conversation.
And it was something like I'm convinced the tweet was something to the degree of I'm convinced that any quarterback that's talented enough will eventually become good if given enough reps to figure it out. And
Hmm.
I feel like there's probably some credit to that. Guys
I
like
think there
Sam
is.
Darnold, all the talent in the world coming out of college, the number 3 draft pick, thrown into a horrible situation, had to bounce around the league and into the wilderness a lot, but he started enough games and saw enough things that eventually he just put it together and the talent is still
Yeah,
there and he still has that bozo in him occasionally. But I mean, he's had 2 straight really strong years and he's
yeah.
playing in the damn Super Bowl.
And what a comeback story it would be for him
Yeah,
if he were to win the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, think about if you would have told somebody when he was exiting New York and was going to Carolina, be like, hey, that dude right there is going to lead an NFC franchise to the Super Bowl and he's winning MVP, right? Like that would be people would laugh at you, right?
yeah,
But like you said, it's a testament not only to people trusting the talent and being willing to develop that talent, but also the perseverance of him. He could have given up very easily.
for
And we've
sure.
seen that happen time and time again with star quarterbacks coming out of college. Jamarcus Russell fizzled out. Absolute disaster. We've seen it happen so many times, and there's so many YouTube videos on, the biggest draft bust of all time, Ryan Leaf, and it's it's really cool to see it happen in the opposite way,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't see that kind of story as often. Normally, right off, you're out of the league, you're done, right? And we never really get to see that other side very, very often. So, really, really cool story here. We
Yeah,
both
and
have the Seahawks winning.
one real last thought about Sam
Yeah.
Darnold. You go back to preseason last year, before he had started and had the season he had for the Vikings last year. Was his most significant contribution to like the football world that graphic where it's like Sam Darnold out mononucleosis?
It
Like
was.
genuinely,
It
like
was. It
that's the kind of
was.
career he'd had until that
Yeah.
point was that a meme was kind of his biggest impact. And so just all credit to, there's a lot of quarterbacks that and players that don't work out because of off the field. They don't have the work ethic and the attitude, and then they can't adjust. And then that's it. You're done because you haven't proven that you belong there. But, credit to Darnold. He never gave up. He worked hard and here he is. But
Yeah.
yeah, we both have Seahawks in this one. I too am very excited for the halftime show. I think he's gonna put on an amazing concert. He's got an
Oh yeah.
incredible album that did just win album of the year.
Hmm.
I have to would be remiss if I did not point out that Sinners won two Grammys, including my king Ludwig Göransson winning Best Original Score, which was the one that I cared the most about. And yes, I'm
Hmm.
aware of how deranged 21-year-old Ben would think I am for just being so emotionally invested in the Best Original Score Grammy. But and 16 Oscar nominations record. Okay, I'm done. That's all I got.
I was so excited when I saw that it had won Best Original Score. I was like, he's gonna be able to sleep tonight.
It's just so funny. Cheyenne said this to me the other day. She's like, I mean, I've seen you like passionate, but like you're just so passionate about this. And it's like, I don't even know why. Like, it doesn't matter to me if it usually doesn't matter to me, like if other people enjoy things that I enjoy. But like, I think it's just a pinnacle of movie making in today's world. And it's just resonated so deeply with me that for some reason I'm invested in it. So,
Everyone's got something that they connect emotionally deep with. The second Spider-Verse movie that came out a few summers ago,
hmm
that soundtrack and score, that took over my life for a good year. I'll be
yeah.
honest, just there's something about everyone's got a specific film that I think just kind of defines who they are, and I'm glad you found yours.
Yeah, until Odyssey comes out and then I have to share space
Then
between.
it's over, yeah.
Yeah. Can't believe they got Travis
Alrighty.
Scott back there. Crazy.
Alrighty, let's get into some NFL awards. They're actually announcing these as we're recording them.
They
I
sure
believe
are.
the
Have you
award
seen any of
ceremony
the
just
results?
started. I have not. I'm not looking.
Okay, I've only seen one, and it's not one of the ones that we're picking. So I feel
Okay.
good. Feel valid. I want to make it clear. I've seen that Josh McDaniels wins Assistant Coach of the Year.
Okay, which
Absolutely insane, by the way, but whatever.
yes, is what it is. So I guess we'll start with MVP and we'll work our way down here. My MVP choice is actually somebody who's not a finalist
I love
for
it,
the
Jesse.
MVP
I
this
love
year.
it.
And this is really one of the only ones that I think I fully deviated from. And to me, I like going based off of the old style definition of best player on the best team. And this was tough because there's a lot of guys, I mean, even those who are finalists that I think are worthy MVPs. But to me, the best player in the league at their position for the entire season was Jackson Smith and Jigba. I
Okay.
firmly believe that he was the best player in the league this year. And I'm not just saying that as a fantasy owner. He took them to a different level, right? And it's been a minute since the Seahawks have had that kind of dominance at wide receiver. We've seen them have it at the quarterback position, at the running back position, but to me, he was the best player on the best team. And with that being said, he's my MVP this year.
I like it. I like it. This is gonna be. This segment is already good. You'll see why. Okay, so my MVP. I did take a couple non-traditional choices in some of these categories. In this one, I think that the expected top two finalists are definitely the correct choices
Mm,
between Drake May and Matthew Stafford. And this is really tough because I think both play. I think Stafford had a better season, but
mhm,
I chose Drake May as the MVP because to me the MVP has become kind of the best player on like the best one of the top teams or the best
right.
quarterback. Um, but if you, what made May my pick was I believe he's more valuable to the team's success than Stafford is to the Rams. Now, obviously,
Yep.
Stafford, is the engine of the Rams, but you still have, you could put a league average quarterback on that roster, and you still have Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams,
Right.
plenty of other weapons, a good ground game, elite
Mhm.
coaching. You wouldn't reach those same heights, but you could still be a pretty competitive team. You might even make the playoffs. If
Right.
you take Drake May out of the Patriots, like what are they? I mean, they've got
Nothing.
great players, some good players. Travion Henderson's an exciting rookie. Ramondre Stevenson's underrated. Hunter Henry is a dependable safety valve tight end. Steph
But it's
Diggs
not
is
the
a
same.
violent
Yeah.
criminal, but like a productive receiver. And it's crazy that we're just blowing over all the legal issues he had a month ago, so that because they're in the playoffs. But Drake May is the engine that powers that offense and that
Yes.
team. The Steelers, or I mean, not the Steelers. Goodness gracious, the Patriots. Um, the narrative about them, I feel like all playoffs has been they're overachieving. The roster isn't quite to the same level as some of these other contenders.
Right.
The reason that they're here is because their quarterback just went dummy. Now, he still
Yeah.
does have some dummy plays every now and then, but like, I mean, Stafford also threw three picks in a late
Yeah.
season game. Like, it happens. I just think the leap that Drake May has taken and just the poise he plays with and the production, and if it's not there on the ground or in the air, he can get it on the ground. I think that he's the most valuable player, and that's why he was my selection. But I think I really don't know who's going to win this award, truthfully.
And honestly, if I had a vote, right, and you told me I had to pick from the finalists, he is my pick. He is my pick out of those finals. I agree wholeheartedly with you. For our next one, we have Offensive Player of the Year. So this puts me in a bit of a
A
predicament
bind.
because because I did not choose a quarterback for the MVP, which is essentially kind of what the MVP has turned into is the best quarterback
And
award.
then the OPY is like the best non-quarterback.
Right. So because I went a different direction, I went ahead and picked a quarterback for this one, and I went with Josh Allen. And to me,
Yeah.
OPOY is typically about statistics and, you know, how much can you get out of your own game? And I don't think anyone does a better job of that than Josh Allen between his throwing and his running. One of my favorite plays in the entire NFL is basically just using Josh Allen as a battering ram to knock through a door. That's all it is. Have you seen that meme with Ralph Wiggum getting
Yeah, just like
thrown through a
launching himself
window?
through the window.
Yes,
Yeah. That is the
that's
Josh Allen experience.
literally Josh Allen every fourth down. Like that's
That's what I
that's
thought
the
Anthony
play,
Richardson was going to be.
right? It would have been nice, but here we are. So offensive player of the year, I went with Josh Allen.
So I said this was going to be interesting. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba was an amazing player this year.
Yep.
I did not pick him for either
Oh
category.
wow.
I and listen, I do think he is going to win this award. I chose Christian McCaffrey for
Okay.
this.
That's a
Um,
very respectable pick.
I think a lot of the like bulks, like the actual like volume numbers speak to this. A lot of the advanced metrics favor McCaffrey, not favor him over JSN, but are favorable for
Yeah.
McCaffrey. But also just I'm thinking about the 49ers season, right? And
Yeah.
how many guys were in and out of the lineup,
Hmm.
how hard it was to cobble a game plan together every week, except for one part of the process. And that was, dude, we're going to give Christian McCaffrey an ungodly amount of touches, and he's just going to make magic happen.
And
And
he
it
stayed
worked.
healthy
And he stayed healthy with,
for
I
once.
would not touch McCaffrey with a 10-foot pole next season in fantasy, but
No.
I was just so impressed with the consistency, the reliability, the production, the
Hmm.
insane number of scrimmage yards. He was as automatic as it gets for a team that had nothing else it could count on all season
Yeah.
long. And to me, that elevated him a little bit above JSN. And,
Mm.
he had a fantastic season, worth recognition, and I do think he's going to win that award tonight. But I had to go with CMC on this.
Yeah, he had an incredible year. Really, he did keep that team afloat, which we kept talking during the entire season on this pod. We were like, when are they going to fade? When are they going to fade? And they just really never did.
Oh,
They didn't make a ton of noise in the playoffs. But with that being said,
yeah. When you get to
playing
the
with the
postseason,
skeleton crew,
some of those
yeah,
missing faces start to really pop up more and more. And
right. You can't replace Fred Warner in the
yeah,
middle
you
of the
can't
field.
approximate that in the playoff game as much.
Alrighty. I'll let you go first for the next couple of them here. Defensive player of the
Ooh.
year.
Yeah, I
This
don't feel like I
is,
have to waste a lot of time here.
I don't know if I do either. Go ahead.
I mean, there were a lot of fine defensive players this year, but what Miles Garrett did
Hmm.
is, and it's not even about the sack record, right? I would have given this to him with 17 sacks. Just
Yeah.
that he has some talent on that defense for sure. I mean, the Browns defense is the best unit on that team, but I think it's hard to grasp how impressive it is to even threaten the sack record on a team that trailed almost all the season.
Hmm.
And also, as we saw in the Week 17 game against the Steelers, who literally, and maybe this is a little tinfoil hat, but I believe this, basically threw the game to keep Miles Garrett from affecting the game, and then in
Yeah.
essence lost the game because of it. Like just a true game plan wrecker, and somebody that you have to double and triple team on every play, and he still makes plays. Single-handedly kept the Browns competitive in a lot of the games. They lost. They were not a good football team, but they were competitive in a lot of
They
stretches,
were.
even though
They
they were
were.
starting Jonesman or Journeyman McGee's at quarterback, even though they were both rookies. Um, just like had nothing going on offense except for a couple splash plays here and there. He's the most impressive defensive player in the league, and I didn't hesitate at all. He was the first name I wrote down.
And I also wrote him down. I don't think there's any question. The award is his,
I
and
don't even know who you could argue had a comparable season.
I don't think you can. And here's my question. We're not even talking about the rest of the field for this. If you put
Or
him
who
on a
even is the
contending
rest of the
team, right? If you put him on a contending team, right, with some comparable guys on that defensive line, right? Maybe let's even say the Colts, a team that had some success this year before the offense went out. But you got some guys on that defensive line. You got DeForest Buckner, you got Grover Stewart. You put him there, and you're not able to double team Miles Garrett as much, and you got playing against teams who are still passing in the fourth quarter. How many sacks is he getting?
30.
I mean, right. Like
I
we're
mean,
talking
like, if he was on a competitive
unheard
team.
of stuff. Like it's not, and like you said, it's not just the sack record. It's the fact that he was literally an entire defensive unit on his own. I don't think we have ever seen a dominant defensive player of the year campaign like his in quite some time. I really
I'm
don't.
gonna briefly give some flowers. So Google search. The Google AI is the worst thing that's ever been created.
Sure.
Here's the list of the finalists for DPOI and why Google says they were nominated. Miles Garrett, top favorite after breaking single season sack record. Yeah. Will Anderson Jr., recognized for dominant season. That's my honorable mention. Will Anderson was unbelievable all season
Hmm.
long. Nick Bonito, highlighted for strong defensive performance. Aiden Hutchinson, among the top defensive performers. Micah Parsons, finalist for his impact on defense. Wow, really cutting edge stuff that we're getting right
Love
there.
that.
But
Excellent.
those are the other finalists, I guess. Micah maybe could have like had a stronger case if he had stayed healthy, but it still was
Yeah,
Miles all the way.
yeah. I don't think anyone could have voted. All right, offensive rookie of the year. What do you got?
So this one was not very difficult for me. I think the general consensus is usually that you want to give it to a quarterback, and Tyler Shuck did actually give me a little bit of hesitation. For me, it was just the number of games started wasn't enough. So I went with Teteroa McMillan, who was just a clear number one wide receiver as a rookie. Really a huge engine of why that team was the Panthers were able to make the playoffs. Thought he was impressive from the jump, which is hard to do. You know, we have a lot of these young receivers come in and have standout seasons. You know, Emeka Egbuka started really strong. He faded towards the end of
Mhm.
the season, but it's hard to come in and look as polished as McMillan. You know, a lot of the top rookie receivers have big seasons, but don't feel quite as veteran. It's like, and he just felt like he's been playing in the NFL for years. Um, and his productivity and reliability pushed me to not pick him.
And I also picked Tetaroa, just like you said, he looked like he had been playing in the league for a couple of years at this point. Very crisp route running. And
Yeah.
I think he played the way that a lot of people were hoping Xavier Legette was going to play out of the gate, and we just haven't seen that from him yet. He doesn't quite have the same separation skills that McMillan does. But if you are a fan of the Panthers, you got to be excited by Bryce's development towards the end of the season and that connection that he's making with McMillan. And I am a Bryce Young guy. I am. I still believe in his ability, and I think he proved that he can be that guy at the end of the season. Like I said, push came to shove, he won the games he needed to win. And the Panthers were mind-numbingly frustrating at times this year with some of the games that they lost, but when push came to shove, they buckled down and they got the W's and almost pulled off a pretty impressive upset in the playoffs.
I love Bryce Young. I'm not a believer in him long term, unfortunately, but they did nearly pull off a crazy upset. And that throw, I'm just so happy for my guy that he played well in that game. And that throw to the back corner of the end zone that gave them the late lead was about as
Beauty.
perfect as you could draw it up. And I
That's
was
a number
happy
one
for,
pick throw.
yeah, I was happy to have for him to have that. I still think he has limitations, but McMillan does not in his candidacy here. All right, defensive rookie of the year, Jesse. Who you got?
I got another Brown, Carson Schwedinger, or
All right,
however you pronounce
we're
it.
in lockstep here.
Yep, that I think he was the heavy favorite anyway.
Yeah.
What a find! What a find for them in the
It's
second round.
linebacker is such a hard position to learn in the NFL
It
because
is.
especially at the college game now, you're not asking as much out of your linebackers, right? That's just
Right.
the way the game works. They're reading the option and they have their keys. They're not just like, like, oh, do this. But it's the processing is so much more advanced at the NFL
Yep.
level. And you see that on the other side too, at the quarterback position. They're doing so much more is on their plate and the same as at the quarterback of the defense, the linebacker. And he just, again, like McMillan, just looked like he'd been playing in the league for years.
Alrighty. Coach of the year. For me, I was between a couple. I had Liam Cohen written down just because of the turnaround that Jacksonville had, and I think he's setting a culture there that hasn't been there in quite some time. But I went ahead and went with Mike Vrabel, and
Yeah,
I
understandable.
think Vrabel does win it in real life as well, not just in the fake spillies here. But I went with Vrabel just because, you end up as the number one senior
I mean, they're
conference.
playing in the Super Bowl, you know.
Yeah,
Number
there's
two seed,
really I
number
don't
one
really
seed
need to
was in
explain it.
Denver. Gonna
Right.
correct
Oh,
you.
yes, that's true. Sorry about that. But yeah, I think I don't really need to explain it. He took his team to the Super Bowl in his what, second year as a coach?
First,
Oh, was it his first?
this is his
Who was the
first year.
coach last year?
That would be the one, the only. Shit, what was his name? This was
I'm
his first year though.
I'm blanking.
He used to be he was the old player. Um, that like Gerard Mayo.
Oh,
They
yeah,
coached
yeah, yeah.
last year.
All right, well, yeah,
Um,
then definitely.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, you go from
100%.
like 3 wins to the Super Bowl. He's definitely probably going to win.
Yeah.
Um, I had Liam Cohen as an honorable mention because I mean, Jacksonville made some upgrades, but their best move was a midseason trade for Jacoby Myers. He mostly inherited a lot of the same pieces and completely turn that team around. Team feel that they feel like, I talked about the Jaguars, unfortunately, as a team of destiny on this podcast and picked them to make the Super Bowl, which flamed out immediately. But an incredible season for that. This is always a really hard award because there's always a lot of good choices. I went with Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, nice.
Vrabel is
Nice.
also a great choice. I feel like Shanahan, Cohen, Ben Johnson, and Vrabel. It's kind of like flip a coin. Like they're all deserving. I went with Shanahan just for I don't need to repeat a lot of the McCaffrey stuff, but just all the injuries to quarterback on the defense to all your skill position players. I was just really impressed with their ability to keep winning. Even though, their schedule wasn't a murderer's row, it's still hard to win in the NFL, especially when you're getting new guys and roles every single week. That wears on a team, and that season easily could have spiraled into the dumpster, and they wouldn't even be taking heat for it. It would have been like,
Yeah.
oh well, they just got
They
so
lost everyone. Yeah.
they had no choice. But he not only kept that thing together, but they were in contention for the 1 seed up until the wee hours of the season. And that's as good a coaching job as I've seen done in this league. So I give it to Cal Shanahan.
Phenomenal.
A lot of
Great choice.
worthy candidates.
Great choice.
One more award, Jesse. Comeback Player of the Year.
For this one, I'm going with a guy that you already talked a lot about, Christian McCaffrey, and not just because of the production that he had coming off the Achilles injury scares that he had last year, but the volume, just the sheer volume that he was able to kind of put his head down and go to work for the vast majority of the year and put the offense on his back when there was really not a lot going on. You're missing Ayuk, you're missing Kittle for a good amount of time and you're missing Purdy for a good amount of time. McCaffrey, like you said earlier, engine of the team and made the whole thing run. So for me, it was pretty easy. I went with CMC.
So CMC is the heavy favorite for this award, and
Mhm.
he will definitely be going home with this hardware. This was an award, kind of like it's funny that we bookend it like this, where I was like, I want to go a completely different direction, kind of like you did with MVP.
Yeah.
So I chose off not outside of the finalists. My beef with this just ends up being who suffered a season-ending injury and then is healthy the next season and
Right.
had a great season. Um, which is valid. But what I really wanted to do, and I had the idea too late, but to really put in the work I would have needed to, I wanted to sit there and be like, who was really bad, like slash out of it on their way out of the league, and then just completely change the narrative about their career. So like last year, this should have been Zach Bond to me.
Yeah.
Just an afterthought player who became an all pro and like revived their career. So similar to that, I did think of like who's a guy who changed the narrative about them, and ended up going with Chris Olave, the Saints
Oh, okay.
receiver.
Okay.
He just has really struggled with debilitating concussions. And at
Hmm.
one point last year, it felt like he was probably done. And
Yeah.
then to come back this year, have a healthy season, an all-pro season, even, I don't know if he should have been up there, but, a season at least
But he did. He
worthy
did.
of
Yeah.
consideration for that. Given the way that the last few years of his career have gone, I felt like that was more meaningful than McCaffrey or any of these other players that had, like one a serious injury and then just like, rehabbed or covered. But I mean, Olave felt like his career might be in jeopardy, and for him
Yeah.
to just rebound, have a healthy year, be part of an exciting Saints team, and something for them to look forward to on their core moving forward. I had to give it to him. He's not one of the
Awesome.
finalists. Philip Rivers is I believe maybe a finalist. Um, which is insane because like I mean he literally did come back, but
He did.
he played like 3 games, so I don't know about all that, Chief. But
Had a arm strength to get it 10 yards downfield.
yeah, we did. Those are our awards picks. We have had a couple of the ones that we picked come off the board while we were recording. I will go ahead and share that we correctly identified the Defensive Player of the Year and the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year.
All right.
Those are the ones that of the ones we just did that have already come off the board.
Look at us. We should get paid for
Two for
this.
two. We picked the odds-on favorites for two awards.
Hey,
We're
you know,
Nostradamus.
we should have put some money down at the very least. Alrighty,
Or
we're gonna
one
take a
dollar to a
break.
dollar six.
Our Zoom mandated break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about some NBA and we're gonna play some games and we're gonna rant.
I'm excited about this NBA. I have a lot of thoughts.
I
Do you
do
have a
too.
lot of thoughts?
I do.
Let's go, baby. I knew we
Let's do
would.
it.
I knew we would. We'll see you on the other side of this break, which for you guys will be like 2 seconds.
And welcome back to the Spillin It Pod. We got some NBA thoughts coming up here, and I know you and I are both excited about this. We have not talked about the NBA enough this year,
It's gonna change
and
now. It's our new
it's going to change. We're
breadwinner.
going to make up for some lost time right here. You have two certified ball knowers right here, and two certified ball lovers as well. I had to bring out my Hallie ones here.
Of
Shout
course.
out to my sister Allison for being able to get those on the pre-order.
The Puma
They
like
are
glows. It
comfortable.
looks sick.
Oh yeah. They are comfortable, man. Like the ankle support on those things. I wore them out the other day and I was like, "Whoo, okay. I see you, Puma. I see you."
I don't have the signature shoe, but I can share that I read a job application recently where on the resume a listed skill was basketball. So
Just basketball.
just basketball. I was like, this man is like, do I have the experience? Probably not, but I'm a walking bucket.
Uh,
And that's
what
valuable in a meeting room.
what is that interview? You just
There was,
played it
I'm
20
gonna
minutes.
spoil it for you. There will not be an interview, but there was a resume reviewed.
You going in to play 21? Like what's the
It was probably, and I'm not obviously naming a position or company or anything, but it was probably the worst resume that I've ever read. But it had basketball as a skill, and I thought that was funny.
I love that so much. Amazing. Amazing. Alrighty, NBA trade deadline happened a little before we started recording here, a few hours
Yeah,
before, and
boy, did it.
uh, wow. This went from, we were talking about it, this went from a nothing burger to an everything bagel in about what, 72 hours?
Yeah,
You
when
know,
Trey Young was traded a month ago, I was like, I wonder if that's a sign that the deadline is just not really going to materialize. And I never really thought Giannis would move. So, and
no, no
that
one
was
else believed
true,
that.
but damn near everybody else did. Some of the stuff like that just occurred, like developed and then happened and then it was over, happened so fast. The
So fast.
Harden trade was just like there was a trade request and like 12 hours later he's on a flight to Cleveland.
Just gone.
Unbelievable. I have a lot of thoughts about the Clippers, but we'll get there.
So let's start with the one that's going to affect our fandom the most,
Yeah.
and that's going to be the Indiana Pacers trade that broke very, very quick right before the deadline here. And that is the trade for Zubac to become the starting center of the next couple of years for the Indiana Pacers. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I know you and I had already talked about it a little bit, and I had some nervousness going into it. And I do want to say, from a purely basketball standpoint, I love this deal. I
Wait, Jesse,
really do.
real quick. Um, for the viewers or listeners that don't know the terms of the deal, who then maybe it may not make as much sense. Anyway, just for
Yeah,
context, the Pacers traded Benedict Mathurin, um, Isaiah Jackson, two first round picks, one of which is this year's 2026 pick. Protected, it stays with the Pacers if it's picks 1 through 4 or 11 through 30. If it's 5 through 9, it goes to the Clippers. If it doesn't go to the Clippers this year, it's the 2031 unprotected. The other one I think is 2029. And then in return, we got center Ivica Zubats and Kobe Brown or some shit. I
no,
don't know. But anyway, sorry, Jesse, please, just for
no,
context.
no, no, absolutely. Give the context. To me, the reason why I had so much nervousness for this was because of the pick. And my entire life as a Pacers fan, it has been build through the draft. You have to build through the draft. We're not getting free agents. We're not really doing big splashes and trades for the most part. Like we are building piece by piece and getting good guys all around to play good team basketball. That's how it's always been, right? And this is the first time that we have a legitimate chance to get the first overall pick in a what I think is going to be a really good draft at the
Mhm.
top, especially. So my nervousness comes from that. But I also came to the realization as I was driving home, I was like, this is really the first time that I have seen my team make a trade that is clear cut saying we are going to try to win right now. It is now or never. And that's what this trade is to me, right? His contract
Mhm.
goes up in 2028, as is Pascal's, as is Nemhard's, as is TJ McConnell's. 2028 is potentially the end of this core as we know it, right? So to me, this is Kevin Pritchard saying, I am pushing the chips in and we are going to try to go win this thing. Now, Zubac is only 28 years old right now, right? His career is by no means over at the end of this contract, and Tyrese is still only 25 years old, right? There's still time that we can extend the window if we see fit. But to me, this was a clear-cut sign that Pritchard said, I want to win now. If the Pacers retain that top four pick, I think this could be his shining moment as a general manager and as a president of basketball operations. I really do. I think this could be the deal that we look back on and we say the stamp, this is the one, right? If we lose that pick, it starts to get cloudy for me and I worry a bit. That being said, for me, this is a clear-cut signal that the Pacers see somebody that they want in that top four. And if they don't get that person in the top four, then they're not worried about it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my thoughts landed was I was excited, always excited to get that player, right? Very excited to fill a significant need on our team with a guy who's just a dog,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't space the floor well, but man, oh man, does he play good defense, and he is a solid rebounder. So very excited to get the player in. Pending draft lottery, I could say this could potentially be his best work, Kevin Pritchard, or something a little risky that is a win now move.
So I love the trade. I actually think there's very little downside. Not very little. I think there's less downside than you probably. I'm a little more bullish on it. Um, so here's the thing. The Pacers lost Miles Turner in this past offseason for whatever reason, like we'll probably never like truly
No,
get a straight answer from both sides about what really happened. But I think they upgraded at center for
they
less
did.
money than it would have cost to keep Miles Turner. Miles definitely, as you mentioned, a better floor spacer, but his defense, his blocks still were up there, but his interior defense had
It
slipped
was rough.
noticeably, and
It was rough.
it was rough in the finals at times. Zubac's basically anchoring a defense by himself, and then with Kawhi on the nights when Kawhi is healthy in LA. He's an elite rebounder, something we just have not had at the center position in a very, very long time.
Hmm.
Long, long time.
Long time.
Um, I mean, even Roy Hibbert wasn't always the best rebounder, you know. It's been years.
And Sabonis was our probably our best rebounder in the last 15 years or so, but
Yes.
he
Even
wasn't
he was
set.
a different kind of rebounder
Yeah,
than Zubats is.
yeah.
I view this as, I mean, we know this season's a wash. We're not going anywhere. Zubats does make us better in the short term, but losing Matherin probably offsets that because like the spacing is going to be really kind of cramped. It's not going to be great. So hopefully we keep losing. Here's where I come down. If we're not in the top four, is player 5 through 9 going to crack the top 8 of an NBA title contending team
No.
next? Probably not.
No,
Uh,
and that's where I have that tunnel vision for me because
yes.
we've never really been in this position,
Yeah.
right? It's always been like, oh, we're that scrappy team, we're a tough out in the playoff, and even when we were going to the Eastern Conference Finals, yeah, we were a title contender, but it was the
And
Heatles, right?
and if I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about this team next year. We've got Halliburton, Siakam, Zubats as our like top three, right? Zubats probably not as good as some other teams' top three, but he's a damn good player. And then you
Yeah.
also add in Nemhard, McConnell, Toppin, everybody else we have on our team. We kept Jarris Walker, who can continue to develop.
Yeah,
I Matherin probably going to walk in free agency anyway.
I think so.
I don't know that they would have been able to spend big money to keep him and still upgrade the center position. And now I was reading some analysis of this deal, and somebody said that Zubats has spent 2 years at James Harden University for the pick and roll.
Yeah.
And I mean, you used to not be a great pick and roll threat, and now has been with one of the best in the business for 2 seasons. I'm just imagining the Halliburton Zubats pick and roll next year. You've still got plenty of outside shooters to take over kind of the laps and shooting that Turner had over Zubats. But I just, it's scary because if we do, let's say that is pick number 5, That's a higher pick than we've made in forever.
Yeah.
And that's a scary prospect. But we are plugging a hole in the interior on one of the best contracts in the NBA. I mean, he's making
Great contract.
Mathurin probably is going to be making the same amount of money and be
Yeah.
impact winning a lot less. I love you, Benedict Mathurin, but that's just the reality. Um, I I love the move. It is I love that the last couple off seasons they've been like we have a chance here to be a real player in this
Yep.
league. And I love the aggression of, this season's a wash, but when Halliburton's back, we have every reason to believe that we could contend for the East and for
Yep.
the league next year. And we're gonna push our chips in and do that. I saw somebody online that was like dangling a 2031 draft pick is unprotected, which is what we would convey if we keep our pick next year, is crazy. And that is risky because,
It
as you
is.
pointed out, this core is locked up through 28, and who knows what will be in 2031. But that's also kind of my counter argument. Who knows what will be in 2031? We have a chance right now
Right this
to
second.
make a push. And they have, like you said, we've never had our team do that ever. Even the trades that got us Halliburton and Siakam, where Siakam is a little closer to like pushing for it, but that wasn't viewed as like the final piece to complete a title
Right.
contender. That was, we want to make an aggressive move. This is the first time in my lifetime outside of the ill-fated Evan Turner, Danny Granger swap, maybe that you
Oh,
could maybe argue was kind of like this is the last first time in my life I can remember the Indiana Pacers being like, this is the one thing standing between us and a real shot at the title, and we're gonna make that swing. Um, it's a high risk, but the reward is huge because let's say we
yeah.
do keep that top four pick. We don't even need that guy to play immediately. We can bring him
Yeah.
along. He can win his way into the rotation, and then bam, that's another elite piece. We, like you said, there's a chance that this is viewed as like one of the best trades that's been made in recent NBA history.
Because
Um,
here's the thing too, if we end up getting that top four pick, and again, this is hypotheticals, this is ping pong balls in June
right.
talk here. But if we keep that pick, you have Tyrese Halliburton, who's still in his mid 20s, plus a top four pick, and Nemhard, Neesmith. All these dudes are still fairly
Yeah, I didn't even
young,
name Neesmith earlier. It's like I'm forgetting somebody.
right? We still have a pretty young core of guys who can be together for a long time.
Hmm.
And if that's the case, then those 29 and 31 picks become less valuable over time,
Yeah,
right? You open up a significant championship window. So exciting times. It's nice to be in this scenario as a team where we can kind of just sit back and be like, oh, we're actually trying. Like we're going for it.
hmm,
So that's where I ended up was I really hope we can keep that pick because I'm a draft capital guy.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I love the fact that we are going for it. I really, really do. And that's a very good sign of things to come, I think, for Pacers fans.
absolutely. Well, we're probably not going to break down every other move with the same depth as the
No.
team that we live and bleed for. But Jesse, I want to hear your thoughts on what are some other big swings taken at this deadline that stand out to you?
I think the other one we got to talk about is Harden. Harden to the Cavs. And I've been trying to wrestle with this for a while because Darius Garland has been a guy at times. Has he been a guy this year? I don't think so. Right? That toe injury from last year has really slowed him down, I think. I don't think it'll be this way forever by any means. But to me, when I look at it on the surface, you're trading a 26-year-old for basically a 36-year-old. Same
Yeah.
position, right? They play very differently. They play very, very differently. But that's what I keep getting stuck on is do you really think that deal is going to put you over the edge that much right now?
For who?
And for Cleveland. And for me,
Yes.
it feels desperate. Could it work? Yes, because James Harden is still a dog. But you are mortgaging a lot moving forward. So this boils down to two things for me, right? They have a significant belief in James Harden that he can push them and deliver them, right? Two, this was a referendum on what they thought about the future of Darius Garland
Hmm.
and that he has hit his ceiling. And at 26 years old, you could probably argue it's possible, right? But I don't know. It was just it was an unexpected move for me that I'm still trying to digest, and I need to see it on the floor before I make like a final determination. If it works and Harden's able to be that guy playing next to Donovan Mitchell, who is a notorious playoff performer, then cool. Awesome. Good for you guys. But just the optics of a 26-year-old point guard going out and bringing in a 36-year-old one is what's giving me hesitation.
So I actually love this move for Cleveland. I think it's really inspired. I think Cleveland has kind of come to the realization that the roster as currently constructed probably is not getting you over the hump, which
Right.
is tough. You know, they were the best team in the East last year, record wise. And then, were really injured when they played us in the postseason. And who knows who would have won that series at full strength. But I think they took a look in the mirror and said, can the Garland Mitchell backcourt pairing long term work? And I think they probably decided no. And
Yep.
so then they looked at the East landscape this year and said, could we get over the hump this year in a depleted East? Boston has not really fallen off, but who knows what's up with Boston in a
Yep.
series, with their
Yeah.
current
Playoff
roster.
basketball is very different.
Playoff basketball is very different, and they saw an opportunity. Garland's highs are very high, and I think he's a very talented player and a very good player. And it's possible that this will age poorly for Cleveland, but I think they saw an opportunity to add somebody that's tested and still playing at an elite level at James Harden, and he truly is playing at a very high level. I don't know what's going on with him in the locker room anymore because this is like the fourth trade in 6 years, but he's still a very good basketball player. And I think you add him to that mix with Mitchell, with Mobley, with Jared Allen. And I think it's a good team. They got rid of Lonzo Ball's dumbass contract. And,
It's
they
true.
did. I don't know if I loved the DeAndre Hunter trade on the court, but, they got a couple guys back that
Yeah.
whose names escape me right now. But I remember thinking, like, okay, yeah, at least you're getting some pieces there. I think Cleveland is swinging for this year. And then if it doesn't work out, and Harden ultimately ends up moving on, you still have Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen, and you probably financially were going to have to make a choice there
Right.
anyway. And so
Second
they've
apron's
just made
coming.
their choice at the deadline. The other side of this, I don't know what's going on in Lob City right now. I
I
I
have
have
no idea what's going on with the Clippers.
I I have a theory. I say I don't know because I don't know, but I do have a pretty strong theory that's a little tinfoil hat. So I need you to walk with me for a minute.
Okay, I'm walking.
Clippers start the season just putrid.
Yeah,
Won like six of their first 24 games or
it
whatever.
was awful. Yeah,
Very, very, very bad. Then they immediately turn around and win like 17 of their next 22. And that's kind of where they are right now. They've been really hot. They're, I think, the 9 seed right now in the West,
yeah,
but the 8 seed is Golden State, who just lost Jimmy Butler for the season. So you realistically could expect that they would be competing at least for the play-in, if not trying to work their way into the playoffs safe and sound. And then the All-Star teams are announced, and there's no Kawhi. And was Harden on the team? I don't think Harden was named either.
I don't think
Um,
he was.
I'm pretty sure that he was left off as well. And both had cases. Kawhi being left off was like one of the worst snubs of recent
So
memory.
bad.
I mean, he's averaging like
So bad.
27 and a half points per game. Just it doesn't make
It's
any
like they
sense
legitimately forgot the Clippers existed on that.
unless they are getting ready to whammy Kawhi with discipline for this whole aspiration scandal and circumventing the cap. All of a sudden, the Clippers are like, our old ass team is about to potentially
Yep.
face a Kawhi suspension, which would end any chance of competing for the title. Like in all
Yep.
realism.
It's over.
James Harden is 36. His contract has, I think he's either up at the end of this year or he has like a player option for next year, but they are unwilling to commit to him long term. Harden is like, okay, well then I want to go because there's sharks circling,
I'm
and
running out of
also you're
time. Yeah.
not going to pay me long term. And so the
Yeah.
Clippers all of a sudden are like, if we trade Harden and Zubats and Kawhi expires, I think at the end of next season, all of a sudden their books are clear
Yeah. They're
and they can
completely clean.
transition from this point era of basketball into whatever's next. I think
Yep.
that's what's going on here is that they either know that Kawhi's suspension is coming, or they've just decided that they don't think that this team can make
Yeah.
it over the hump, and so they just
And honestly,
decided,
both are probably more than fine reasons to do this.
yeah, and so they just decided to hit the nuclear button, but it was like a microwave nuclear button where it like
Yeah.
happened so fast. Because trading Zubats is crazy.
It
Um,
is crazy
that one I
considering
can't
the
that one I can't
contract.
quite get behind. He's young and he's on a good deal, and I
I'm
don't
thankful
know
for
that
it.
I don't know that Matherin is enough. You're hinging on the lottery pick, or
Yeah.
but
You're putting all that in on the lotto pick.
I don't know that I completely subscribe. I think I know what they're doing. I don't know that I can follow them down that path all the way, but man, what a wild, just like a an absolute nightmare season for the Clippers in all sorts of ways. Because even
Oh
now that
yeah.
they've turned it around, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, like what are the zombie Clippers gonna do realistically?
So the last one that I want to talk about, for me at least,
Mm.
what's going on in Chicago?
The last one, you're cute. Guard City.
Look,
They
what?
have 15 guards and no, like it's literally all guards.
They have
They
all the second round picks for the next 3 years.
did you
It's,
see that they signed what's his name? The G League Mac McClung that
they did not.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they signed Mac McClung because they were like, we don't have we only have nine guards. That the boat is built out of second round picks and guards. I'm verifying. It might have been I might have gotten got.
Uh,
Um, but I'm gonna verify. No, yeah, they signed him to a two-way deal.
oh my gosh.
Um, I don't. Here's the thing about Chicago. I wrote that I love their moves. I don't love
Yeah.
the fact that they traded exclusively for guards, but I love that they finally, like 5 years too late, accepted that they're just going nowhere.
Yes.
And they've just like stood pat. And I don't think they've made like more than three trades in the last 4 years, like
No, they
legitimately
haven't done much.
outside of this deadline. And then all of a sudden they're like, Vucevic is great. He's not part of our future. Ship him
No.
off. Love that for Boston, by the way.
Yes.
Great
Great
pickup for
pickup
them.
for Boston.
Hated for other Eastern Conference teams, but love it
Yes.
for Boston. It solves a huge need for them.
Massive issue.
I think really solidifies them as a true threat.
Yep.
Um, they're like Kobe White is great. We're probably not going to keep him. Ship him off. Let's move on.
Yep.
Honestly, low key, they're kind of like a spicy Giannis destination now because they have just a war chest of picks. They don't really have the players that Milwaukee would want in the offseason, but I don't know. You could get a couple other teams involved and you could maybe make something happen there.
Yeah.
I I love that they just chose a direction and finally we're like, let's blow it all up. Again, I probably would have diversified the positional designation of the returns, but like I gotta find an up-to-date roster, which probably doesn't exist, but it's like literally all guards on their roster. It's insane.
But I mean, that goes with the theme of, I mean, the Clippers did the same thing where it's just all of a sudden just click the button to just nuke the whole thing at once.
They have one player right now on their ESPN roster that's listed, which they have like 20 dudes here, so obviously some cuts are coming. But somebody named Lachlan Ulbrich, who's 6'8", is their only listed center.
Oh
Um,
no.
their projected starting lineup right now is Josh Giddey, Jaden Ivey, Isaac Okoro, Matas Bazulis, and Jalen Smith. They're going to be very bad. Um, they traded for Anthony Simons, Colin Sexton, Jaden Ivey. They signed Mac McClung. Trey Jones might have already been there. Honestly, I have no idea. I think he was already there. Um, Literally just traded for guards and then traded for Gershon Yabusele. Um, I think they just picked him up. I could be
All the
wrong.
guards.
Um, yeah, I don't know what the positional plan is there, but I just love that they blew it up. It was time. It was
Yeah.
long overdue.
Well time. Well past time. Well
I have a
past time.
couple more if you don't have any.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, you were like, this is my last one. I'm like, I think I have
That
one,
was one of my big
two,
three.
three, four, five more that I want to hit. I told you I had a lot to say. I'll try to be quick about them though. Some of them are pretty quick. I like what the Wizards are doing. A lot actually. They've been sorry, Wizards fans, you don't exist, but if you existed, it's sorry. They've been dog shit for so long. You know, should you build the boat out of Trey Young and Anthony Davis? I don't know. But
Probably
you know
not.
what? You've been miserable for years with
Got to do
no hope.
something.
Since John Wall's first injury, you haven't had any prayer of hope. And do the John Wall was popular when we were in high school, so that gives you a bit of a timeline there. I just like that they're pushing. They're gonna.
Yep.
Those are two veterans that are motivated to play. They have a couple young, intriguing pieces. They can kind of learn from the older vets, how to play and play real meaningful basketball and win. And the Wizards can also find out how many of these guys are worth building around. They have a
Yeah.
couple guys that they're intrigued by. Koulibaly is one. Um, the guy that they just took this year, the Alex Sarr, right? The Frenchman
Yeah.
or the guy from last year. They've got a couple
Yep.
pieces that it's like, let's find out if you guys are any good and if you can be part of meaningful
I'm
basketball.
excited to see Sar with Trey, with an actual
Yeah, I just
distributor.
I just feel like, if you're a team like this, just like the Bulls were just going nowhere. And it couldn't have been
Do
fun to be a
something.
Bulls fan
Do
the last couple
something.
of years because you just know like your best case is the 10 seed and a play-in tournament exit. And are the Wizards like, I don't think they're a title contender next year, but they at least have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that has sold Jordan Poole to its fans in recent years. Like, at least now you can say, hey, these guys have played in a lot of all-star games. They're exciting. They're going to teach our guys how to win. I love that. I really do like it for them. I think it's fun. And they gave up some picks in the Anthony Davis trade. Who gives a shit? Now, all you
Yeah.
have on your roster are like 12 first-round picks from the last 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
at a certain point,
And
you got to turn into players. And
yeah,
now
you
you
got to
have
just go do something.
established, proven players. Um,
Yep.
these are very fast. I like what the Knicks did on the margins by picking up Alvarado. I'm very
Yes.
much team don't blow it up this season if you're the Knicks. They've had a really rough patch here for sure over the last couple weeks. But the talent is still there. This is a team that has played meaningful playoff basketball for a couple straight seasons. And given the
Absolutely.
instability in your conference, one more run at it. And then if you don't mount or make it over the hump, then in the off season, yeah, you should probably blow it up. Not blow it up, but at least like make some sort of meaningful move. That's when you push in for Giannis. As much as
Yeah.
I would hate to see it from my perspective, like maybe, but like stick with it a little bit longer. Don't panic. Make
Might as
some
well.
hard
The boogeyman isn't waiting for you in the playoffs, so
You
you
got
might
a
as well.
shot. Like I think it's worth doing. I also really like the Pistons. As a Purdue guy, I love Jaden Ivey, but it didn't really feel like he really had a clear defined role there. Just
No.
especially with the emergence of Cade and turning him into Kevin Herter, a good shooter off the bench, I think is great for the Pistons. Um, then I have two more kind of like bigger ones. Dude, what the hell are the Jazz doing?
Who
Actually,
knows?
I have three more. I have one more team I want to hit with the WTF. But what are the
Who
Jazz?
knows?
So the Jazz, I guess, have decided that Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Keontae George, podcast darling, are just enough to compete. And I think that's a very, very flawed way to look at the Western Conference. I, I don't know. The Jazz are tough because I was just applauding the Wizards for like, you've been so bad and you're going for it. But like, I don't know. This is a pretty big swing. Like
That's a pretty big swing
three
without
first
a
round
clear
picks for a
direction.
team that's like 15 and 36.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Jim.
That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough buy-in for me if I'm a Jazz fan because you got some interesting pieces. You got Keontae and you have Walker Kessler as well. And Lowry's been on the trade market basically since he's gotten to Utah.
Yeah.
And whether he's going to be like who knows? Who knows at this point? But I don't even know if they know. That's the issue. I'm not seeing the direction. If they have some insight for this for me, that'd be great. But I have no idea what's happening in Utah.
Yeah, it's just I don't really know. I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze there. Um, Two more. I'll make them quicker because we've we've talked NBA now for almost 40 minutes. Um, Memphis? Question mark. So here's what I think happened. They traded, as we mentioned, Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Jazz. So clearly they've decided to blow up this core,
Yeah.
which they already started doing with Desmond Bane in the offseason. I think there just was not a market for John Morant
I
that
think they
met
bit off more
their
than they could chew.
criteria, and they're just gonna have to do it in the offseason. But that just leaves you in this weird lurch with your franchise centerpiece, where like you're gonna play out the next couple months. Everybody knows that you're gonna trade him, including him, and you're just in this awkward position. I don't know. I don't know. It's just the vibes there have got to be really bad, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, and the final one is, what are the Pelicans doing, dude? Did
The
you see that?
Pelicans are run by an actual Pelican at this point.
Why? How did Joe Dumars? We have 8.5 minutes before our Zoom mandated break, and I'm going to take at least two of them. How does Joe Dumars continue to get employed in the
I
NBA?
don't
This
know.
is a man who has failed at every executive position that he's ever had. And then the Pelicans are like, yeah, let's just sign ourselves up for more Joe Dumars. And then the only you are like I'm looking up their record right now. I know it's atrocious. And I know that they have like no real pillar. Derek Queen seems really good. He seems fun. I like him. I just like what are you? So the Pelicans are a 13 and 40. Only the ignominy of the Sacramento Kings saves them from being the worst team in their conference. Trey Murphy is awesome. Apparently is listed as their starting point guard right now. So vibes are poor.
Unbelievable.
The vibes are really poor there. I love Herb Jones, but he can't shoot. He's a great defensive, elite defensive player. Um, Zion is what Zion is at this point. Sadiq Bey is like fine on your roster. I don't want him starting, but he is. And then Derek Queen is fun and young, but like you have just like no future whatsoever there.
There's
Um,
nothing.
you probably need to trade Trey Murphy. His value will never be higher. Honestly, if somebody calls you for Herb Jones, a defensive ace, not really valuable on a 13 and 40 team, and instead you trade your point guard, Jose Alvarado, one of your most popular players, for like nothing. Because and the report was that they view themselves as having a championship caliber or playoff caliber roster. They just need to find the right mix.
Delusion.
They need to find the right mix of coaching and development. Dog,
Delusion.
are we looking at the same roster?
Absolute delusion. Do you have some nice pieces? Yeah, but on what planet? What planet?
You
Definitely not
employ
this one.
DeAndre Jordan. DeJounte
Here's my
Murray is
question.
deceased and on your roster. Like, I
Here's my
just
question for you. Are the Pelicans on hashtag relocation watch?
they're
Like,
on fold the franchise watch. I'm
like
so serious. They do not deserve to be there.
they're already in the
Sorry, Jacob.
West.
Love you.
They're already in the West. Do you just move them to Vegas and bite the bullet at this point?
We
Here's my
took a
thing.
team from Seattle, man.
Right. Right. Like here's my thing. All these teams want to say that they believe in, like, I understand you want to publicly say that you believe in your guys, but there is nobody in the world that is buying you saying that you're a championship contending team, or that you think you have a championship caliber roster. No,
It's
you
not
do
there.
not. No, you absolutely do not. And they, of all teams, I was expecting to fully blow it up. I
Yeah,
thought that they were going to take the route that the Bulls actually took and just completely hit the reset button. Nothing. And they could have
absolutely nothing.
honestly gotten a decent bevy of picks for it too, because the market was pretty hot,
Trey
especially for
Murphy could
some.
have probably gotten you at least two firsts.
I think so. I
And
absolutely think
not that I
so.
trust this front office with high draft picks, but I
Now,
don't
Pelicans,
understand.
your roof leaks constantly. You have rain delays for NBA games. Your team is going absolutely nowhere. Your first overall generational pick is a bust. And frankly, it's over. It needs to
It's
be over.
it needs to like just burn it to the ground and start over somewhere else. I'm so
Yeah.
serious. Like they frustrate me so much. Like
So bad.
I just like I look at Joe Dumars and I'm like, it's not often I look at an executive or a coach or whatever, and I'm like, I feel like I could approximate what you're doing. I feel like I could do what he does
Yeah,
for a lot less money.
correct.
Pelicans, if you want to save, because you want to save everywhere else, you're terrified to spend on your facility, on your staff, your players. So you could save a lot of salary. I'll do
Yeah.
his job for 100K.
Just
You'll
bring the
probably be
Spillin It
better.
Pod. Yeah, just bring the Spillin It Pod on. We'll do it. We got this.
Dude, well, 100K each, $200,000. I guarantee you Joe Dumars is making like at least a mil. We
We
just
couldn't
saved
do any worse. We couldn't do any
it,
worse.
literally you couldn't like an infant probably could GM this team. I hate Joe Dumars. I don't even have a dog in this team, but he just sucks. Like you're starting like a guy who has Trey Murphy ever played point guard? And I know this is just like the
No,
ESPN depth chart, and I don't know like if he's actually like their point guard, but I bet I just like that's your plan.
there is no plan.
Your plan is dog. You have Jeremy. Oh, well, Trey Murphy last night had 44 points and hit 12 threes. So
Absolute
trade him.
dog. That's a dog.
His stock would never have. He literally hit 12 threes last night,
He was
and
doing everything he could to get
you
out of there.
lost to the Bucks. Like
He was begging. He's like, please, somebody notice me.
he
I'm going off tonight.
literally did everything he could to get off this team, and it was not enough. I'm scrolling. Jose probably
Oh
started
no.
last night at point. I'm trying to find their starting five.
Oh no.
No, they straight up have been starting Trey Murphy. That's insane.
Oh my
That is,
God.
I like James Borrego, but dog, what are you doing? Has he
He's
played
trying to
point
get
guard
out of there
before?
too.
This is so like granular. I can look this up after the pod, but I gotta know if he's ever played point guard before the hellscape that is the New Orleans Pelicans. All right. Insane NBA trade deadline. So many moves I feel like we didn't even hit,
Oh
but
yeah. No, we couldn't even.
just a wacky deadline. A lot great content. We're gonna obviously talk more hoop. The NFL season is literally over on Sunday, so we're gonna
Lots
have
of
a
hoop coming.
lot of room to talk hoop, especially now that post trade deadline, the league's we're getting close to the All-Star break. The league's starting to take shape a little bit. Um,
Alrighty. We'll catch you on the other side of our Zoom mandated break. We got some games we're gonna play. We're gonna rant at the end. We'll call it a pod.
as if we maybe I should sub one of my rants out because I just did a Joe Dumars rant. I don't know.
Nah, nah. You gotta leave it.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we took 2 minutes between there. I'm still not cooled off. I'm still heated about the Pelicans, but we're gonna move on.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Neither one of us could possibly care less about the Pelicans, and here we are both getting worked up about it on a
Those are
Thursday.
the teams that piss me off the most, where it's like I don't actually even care if you win or lose, but like I just bad ball is bad ball.
Just
Bad
a
team building.
hater of
If
bad ball.
I feel like if I like my 2K GMing is better than what you're doing in real life,
Correct.
then I don't know what to tell you. All right, we really got to keep going. I'm just gonna sit here and shouting into the abyss about the Pelicans. Sorry, Jacob, if you're listening to this episode. I love you. Sorry about your team. Sorry that they're awful and they hate you personally. All right, Jesse, you had a pretty fun game here. I'm gonna tee it up for you. We're doing a little bit of you're talking about. It's ironic that we were talking about does New Orleans deserve the Pelicans? Because you mentioned Las Vegas, and they're a trendy topic anytime league expansion comes up. So Jesse, why don't you
So the caveat here is that we are creating three expansion teams for any league. You can mix and match them as you please. And I really want this to be like true expansion. So I tried to go with not like moving or like rebranding. This is true expansion, like just brand new franchises. So my first one is going to be an expansion for the NBA, and I'm a big fan of the Baltimore Blue Crabs. And
okay?
I'm here for it. And honestly, I wish I could take credit for this one. This is actually from the NBA 2K server that somebody made a logo for it, and it's just a blue crab like this with a basketball, and it just makes my entire life so happy. But Baltimore, I think, is a good market for an NBA team. I think in that part of the country, there's not a lot as you start moving down the eastern seaboard. A lot of it's kind of concentrated up in the New York, Boston area. And I don't know, I just think it's a good one to have. Maryland, obviously, with the crab industry there, and just kind of having like a blue and orange kind of vibe to it. Going Baltimore Blue Crabs is my first one.
I like that. I didn't do as well as you in picking like the branding and the mascots. I gave a couple stabs at it. We'll see. My first expansion that I chose, we got to give St. Louis their NFL team back.
Yes,
I feel like the
agreed.
Rams never should have left, but obviously I can't put the Rams back. So the monuments question mark, or
Okay.
at least something around like the arch, which I think is obviously the most
Yeah.
iconic part of St. Louis. But it's a market that currently just has baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would support the NBA as much.
Probably
And
not.
I just feel like, it's proven for football. Give them back to him. And I don't need another team in Vegas or what have you for the NFL and or another team in California. Dear God, no. But also looked at a map of the country and like where the NFL teams are. I feel like that's a region. You have the Kansas City Chiefs, but that's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
anything that cuts into the Chiefs kingdom, is worth having. So, St. Louis football, bring it
I
back.
love that. All right. This
Ooh,
next
hold
one I
on,
went
Jesse.
oh,
Quick pause. Hall of Fame class of 2026 for the NFL.
yes.
Drew Brees,
Okay.
Larry Fitzgerald, finally.
Yes.
Luke Kuechly,
Okay.
Adam Vinatieri,
Yes, my
Roger Craig.
dog.
Sorry, that's live breaking news here on the pod. Ah, shout out to all those boys. Anyway, Jesse, you're
Reggie Wayne,
second.
we love you. We know what
It's
you are.
insane that Reggie Wayne is not in the Hall of Fame, but also it's insane that Bill Belichick was not one of those names. So
We love you, Reggie. You'll get in at some point. You should have
I
already
hope,
been there,
yeah.
but we love you, Reggie. Anyway, so my next one is minor league baseball team.
Mm,
And
minor league. You're
yes,
crazy.
minor
I
league
love you
team.
so much.
And to me, we live in a very consumerism society. So I think minor league baseball would be a really interesting one for a corporation to team up with a team to sponsor them and to come together to create something just truly terrible. And for this one, I have the Long Beach Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers, right?
You got me fucked up.
So this team will be this team,
You did not show me the notes where you wrote Long Beach Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. That is
they
the
will be
most. I can't believe I'm gonna say this on a podcast where you once complained about wrapping gifts, but that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever said. The Long Beach Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers. Look me in the eye and tell me that's a real suggestion. I mean, I know it's not. That's half the
they will
fun,
be
but
affectionately known as the LBC JBCs.
I cannot stand you. Did you think of the acronym first, or did you think of the name? Yeah, I did. Not the LBC. Wait. What's the C in LB? You're just a
Long
brief.
Beach, California.
Can't stand you. So they're what? So Wendy's is just gonna buy a team in California,
Yeah,
right in the heart of In-N-Out territory. That's
yeah.
diabolical.
Gotta get that fucking shit.
Stop. You talking like when the Big Ten added freaking USC and UCLA is like, now we've got our claws in California.
Oh man, my stomach hurts.
God damn, dude. I knew as soon as you said minor league baseball, I'm like, this is out of
Getting out
pocket.
of pocket.
Well, my second team.
Grow up.
Oh, my stomach hurts. Okay. Well, my second team is an NBA team that is not G League, but NBA. Um, and I'm so sorry to the city and the territory of Seattle, but let's put another Canadian team on the map. Give me a Vancouver team. The
Yes.
Grizzlies started in Vancouver.
Yes.
Give me like the Vancouver Whitecaps or something.
Ooh, I like it. I
Or
like it.
like the snowbirds or snowhawks or I don't know, something. But or I guess I don't know, what's a Canadian restaurant chain? The Vancouver
Tim
Big
Hortons.
Macs, I guess. I don't know.
Vancouver Tim Hortons.
Or like the Perkins. Oh my
We've lost
God.
the plot.
Tim
Okay.
Hortons is crazy. That's even crazier. All right, Jesse,
All
just
right.
let's get your third
My
one.
my last one's actually a serious one, which
So you literally sandwiched.
It's the JVCs. Of course, I sandwiched it.
I cannot stand you. I don't know why we do this.
For this exact reason. Oh gosh. Okay. So with the news that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be in Orlando for a season here in a couple years,
Is that
I
true?
love Orlando.
Did I
I
miss
I
that
love.
somewhere?
Hmm?
The Jaguars are playing in Orlando for a season?
Yes, during their renovation year, they're going to be playing at Camping World Stadium.
Yes,
So
Duval don't run deep.
I guess not.
2027
Um,
home games. Yeah, that's crazy.
so with that being said, I love the city of Orlando, and I think it would be a lot of fun to have an NFL team here. So I wanted to tie it in with the Orlando Magic team name
Orlando
wise. So I
Magic.
went with the Orlando Mystics as an NFL expansion team. Bring them here and maybe actually give the people of Florida something to cheer for when it comes to NFL football.
I mean, there's no other option really. And and the Mystics trademark will be available when the WNBA folds here this summer. So, there's that.
Yeah,
Um, I am a baby back bitch for this third one. I wanted a baseball team. I thought a lot about it, and I apologize to the AAA Nashville Sounds who will be absorbed in this move. Nashville should have a pro baseball team,
they
like
should.
a major league team. And I'm a big minor league baseball guy. Obviously, I worked in baseball, and minor league baseball is pro sports, but Nashville should have a top level baseball team.
I agree.
It feels like such a mistake to not have them. And for the Music City, you could come up with all sorts of great sounds is good. I think you can do a little bit better for the major league team. Um, I don't know what that sounds like. Pun intended.
Nashville Dollywoods.
The Nashville Notes is kind of lame, but I don't know something. The Nashville Struggling Waitresses, something that encapsulates the
Oh,
spirit of the city. Um, or maybe there's like, I don't know, you could make some deal with Lisa Marie and find some sort of Elvis tie-in there. But um,
oh,
Nashville should have a Major League Baseball team for sure.
oh. All right. Well, that was league expansions. I don't know if we're ever going to recover from that segment.
I expect to see that one on TikTok sooner rather
Yes,
than later.
it needs to be already if it's not already there. All right, this next one was yours. Please take it away.
Okay, so this was actually an idea I saw elsewhere that I thought would be kind of fun. It's called the IMDb Known For game. So when you go to an actor or actress's IMDb page, it lists a couple of their like movies that they're quote unquote known for, which some of them I would question because I don't know that some of these are like movies that the general populace knows. But so I cheated a little bit, Jesse, as I hope maybe you did. The rule says you read off the first four projects in the known for, but if I had an actor where like two of them, I'm like, I feel confidently, Jesse and I don't know these. I swapped one of them out.
Okay.
Just I was supposed to tell you that, and then we didn't record for like 2.5 weeks, so I don't think I ever told you that. But that's the basic premise. So Jesse and I are going to say, I'll go first to demonstrate, and I'll give him a couple movies, and I feel like it's fair to say, oh well, I don't know. Let's start by just saying this actor, but it could be an actress.
Right.
Um, it could be an actor, a male or female actor or actress. And we'll just see if how we do here. And I picked, unlike other times where I've been like, I picked big name thing, easily recognizable things, like when we did the Christmas songs and they were not as easily recognizable. These are, I feel comfortable saying that at worst, these are A minus list actors,
Okay.
and actresses. All right, so Jesse, your first one. I don't think either of us is going to do very well at this, but I think it's going to be
Probably
fun.
not.
My first one here. This actor is known for Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
X-Men, Gods and Monsters, and Richard the Third.
Whew.
And
That's
I will help the original X-Men
original. Okay.
because that could be any of like a dozen movies.
Hmm. It's not super simple like Elijah Wood, right?
It is not Elijah Wood.
Okay. Oh,
I see it forming
is
in.
it Sir Ian?
It is Sir Ian McKellen, baby. Let's
Yes.
go.
Do it.
I knew you could get that one. I was like, that's why I was like, I need to make sure he knows it's the original X-Men because then he'll figure
Original.
it
Alrighty. So for this one, they have Star Wars Episode 7.
out.
So
Okay.
that's The Force Awakens, Patterson, and Marriage Story.
The is that three or four?
Oh, wait, that's three.
I need a fourth. If you have one,
Oh, they were also in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
okay. Um, it's I can't think of his actual name. It's Kylo Ren. Yeah.
You're right.
Why
Yes.
can't
It's
I?
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. Yeah, because Marriage is the one that he's in with ScarJo, right? Where
Yes.
that like clip of them like having that like insane argument.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jesse. One for
All
one.
right.
Wait a
One for
minute.
one each. We'll
Maybe
take
we'll
that.
cook. All right, your next one. Les
What?
Miserables,
Okay.
The Dark Knight Rises,
Okay.
The Devil Wears Prada, Love and Other Drugs.
Is that Maggie Gyllenhaal?
No, but it's a good guess.
Yeah, she's on Les Mis.
She's also not in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, that's where I
She's
got it
in
mixed
Dark
up.
Knight. She does get got. Spoilers
She
for
gets
a
got
movie
there,
that's
yes.
almost 20 years old.
Ah,
Not. I would maybe start. I would start with Rises and work your way backwards.
okay.
I think you'll get it if you think about it. The first two
Hmm.
movies, I think, if you focus on those two.
Rises and Les Mis. Um. Oh, who played John Blake? Is it Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
It is not Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Ah.
but I see where you're going. I would think a little.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Rises. Catwoman, Anne Hathaway.
Yes, yes, it's
There we
Anne
go.
Hathaway. I was gonna about to be. I would be a little cattier, maybe.
I
She played
was like,
Cosette in Les Miserables, and obviously was the lead character in Devil Wears Prada.
absolute
Where else
queen
were you?
who does not age.
She has not aged, and honestly, like a really entertaining social media follow because she'll just post on Instagram like, "Here's a notes app list of things I've enjoyed over the last 2 weeks." Hilarious stuff.
She's the best. Alrighty. What am I gonna do with my next one? I have a bunch of them that I am trying to choose from.
I had five, and I'm gonna narrow it to four because I think the fifth one is not A list, so I'm cutting that one.
Okay, I got one. Okay, so for this one, we have Doctor Strange,
Okay.
the original Doctor Strange movie. We need to talk about Kevin, Snowpiercer, and Chronicles of Narnia.
Ooh, was Benedict in Chronicles of Narnia?
He was not.
I didn't see Snowpiercer, but I feel like I can see like the movie poster in my head. Um, I don't know anything about the second movie. It was something about Kevin.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that. The first Doctor Strange. Was it Mad? Is it Mads Mikkelsen?
it's not.
Okay.
Think someone
Um,
colder.
um, in Doctor Strange or in Narnia?
In, I guess, Narnia.
Colder. Oh my God. The ancient one. What's
Hmm.
her name? Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
Man, she is the wow.
Yeah.
I never made that connection that she was the not the Wicked Witch, obviously, but I forget what her name is. It's been so long, but the evil witch. Man, that's crazy.
All right, what you got?
All right. Fight Club,
Okay.
12 Monkeys, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Moneyball.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. I figured that one was easy, but ah man,
Sometimes you got to.
sometimes you got to.
All right. So this one's also going to have a TV show in it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Um, so we have Girl Meets World. We have The Muppet Show.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yep.
What are the other two?
Emergency and Work It.
Okay, I'm glad that I got it on
Yeah.
the first two.
I should have split them up and had them on
I mean,
different
I
ends.
still would have gotten it because as
Yeah.
soon as you said Girl Meets World, the only person I'm like, well, the only person I know from that because I didn't watch Boy Meets World or Girl Meets World. I could have given you to, well, I would have said Topanga, and now I know Danielle Fishel because I watched Dancing with the Stars. But I'm like, it's the, and that was Boy Meets World, and then Girl Meets World. I'm like, I know that's where Sabrina was, but
Yeah.
and then you said Muppet Show, and I was like, all right, I think I've got this one. All right, I got one more for you.
Okay.
This is a good one. I think you'll get it too, but I liked it. I thought it
Okay.
was a good collection of movies. Whiplash,
Okay.
Juno,
Okay.
La La Land, Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man? The OG?
Yes.
Okay. It was Juno, Whiplash, Spider-Man. What was the other one?
Uh, La La Land.
Hmm. Man, the Spider-Man's what's throwing me off.
I knew it would.
The Spider-Man's throwing me off big time. Um, psh,
It's the OG Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man.
trying to think who would have been at Juno. La La Land.
I would focus less on Juno, personally. I mean, I don't know if I haven't seen Juno.
Oh, whoa,
Maybe.
whoa, whoa. J.K. Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There it is.
I
Yeah,
want pictures of Spider-Man.
I was like Whiplash, definitely. La La Land, much smaller role. I haven't seen Juno, so I don't know his
Okay. So, for my last one, we have Scream, the more recent one, not
okay.
the original from the 90s. The Fallouts, um, Beetlejuice, the new one.
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, very good.
I was like, God, I hope it's Jenna Ortega because it's her or Melissa Barrera are the only people I know from the
We
Scream
did so
movies.
much better on that than I thought we would.
Honestly, yeah, we did pretty good. What was the fourth one on Jenna Ortega?
It was gonna be Wednesday, so that would have,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That was good. We got there. We got there on
yeah,
all eight of them.
yeah.
Good job. Go team.
We'll take
Woo.
that. All right, so our next one is going to be, I think, my favorite segments, except for now the league expansions one, but which we're gonna have to do again and just yeah. But the playlist game part three, and it feels like so long ago that we gave each other these prompts. So I've been sitting with this playlist for a minute.
I also have been sitting with this playlist for a minute because I think I was ready for our on schedule date, and then I
Yeah.
have not looked back at this playlist until just now.
So the prompt that you gave me for
I
this
have no
one
memory of.
was higher, further, faster, baby.
That's right.
So
Little
I went
Captain
with
Marvel
some
for you.
some high octane stuff, and I'm excited for this one. I've actually really enjoyed listening to this one. So I started off with just because of the name itself, I felt like I couldn't go any other direction. I went with Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger by Daft Punk.
Elite choice. Set the
Just
tone.
it has to be the first one. And then I dipped into a little more on the rock side. I went with The Last of the Real Ones by Fall Out Boy. I'm not a
Okay.
huge fan of a lot of Fall Out Boy's later stuff that they've done, but that
Sure.
song was on 2K, and for some reason it just kind of stuck with me. So, fan of that one.
A song in a sports game soundtrack just elevates its quality.
It
Usually,
really
unless it's
does.
like truly heinous, then
Right.
you either absolutely hate it or you're like, this goes dummier than it should."
Yeah, like there's no reason why I should be actually feeling this as much as I am. Song number three is Von Dutch by Charlie XCX.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Honestly, my favorite off of Brat, to be honest. I love that song. Then I have I'm Good in parentheses Blue by David Guetta and BB Rexa, which phenomenal song. Also, please leave BB Rexa alone and stop hitting her with cell phones. I know that was a couple years ago, but still,
I was
don't
gonna
throw
say, is
things.
it because she post? Is this a ref? Before you finish that, I was like, did you see BB Rexa post like asking her fans to find her a man?
Did she actually?
Oh yeah, she posted all this criteria, um, and
What an icon.
I was like, girl, you what? Just get a dating app. You're BB Rexa. You'll be fine.
You're gonna be just fine. We're gonna follow that up with Lean On by Major Lazer. Classic.
Somebody to lean on.
And then we got Toxic by Britney Spears.
Oh, okay.
We're going into Starboy by The Weeknd.
Of course.
Couldn't be a playlist without a Weeknd song,
Yeah. A couple
truly.
Daft Punk songs too.
Then we have Levels by Avicii. What's Up Danger by Blackway. That's the song from Into the Spider-Verse.
Like, what's up, Danger?
hmm And then we're gonna end up with No Role Models by J. Cole.
Ooh, great song. I was listening to Tale of Two Cities on the way
Ooh,
um, home from the store today after work. And man, the sound of the gun being cocked in the chorus just like unlocks something primal in
so
you.
good.
All right, that's a
So
good playlist, Jesse. I like
thank
that.
you. And I honestly do not remember what I gave you, so this is gonna be news to
You
everyone.
gave me a date and Esta Academia. So, I went for kind of a theme. All these songs, in some way or fashion, have to do with being poor,
Yeah,
or uh, somehow, or not, somehow in some capacity. It's been a minute, so one of these I'm looking at, and I'm like, hmm. Maybe or two of these I'm like I don't remember what my reasoning was here, but I'm gonna get to it. So I started with La Carcacha by Selena is the first song I thought of.
excellent.
Um, about a beater car, the song itself is not necessarily about being poor, but the car is like a beater broken down
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
And so I was like, well that just
That's
kind
it.
of and then I did also double dip on Selena. We have Amor Prohibido, love between different classes.
Yeah,
Um, kind
classic.
of that forbidden. Hold on, my wife is coming in here to correct me.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Oh, she's celebrating me. Never mind. Um,
Yay!
two Selena choices. All right, so my next song, one of my favorite songs, Fast Car, Tracy Chapman.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Story of they're struggling. They don't have any money in the beginning, and then eventually they drift apart. People hilariously, some people play that like at weddings, and that is very much not a wedding song. Um,
Right.
Money, Money, Money by ABBA.
Okay, okay.
Um,
I
just
see the
felt like
division.
a little too on the nose, but I did it. The song that is the focus of my Roman Empire, when that was like a trend of like what's
Yeah,
your Roman Empire you think about every day. Last $2 by Johnny Taylor. My Roman Empire is the New Orleans All-Star Band playing in this dive blues bar in New Orleans off Bourbon Street, and this man just like transporting my soul to another dimension with this rendition of Last $2. Um, to the point that I have like recordings of other like songs throughout the night, and I just like did not have the mental capacity to pull my phone out and
like it's
record.
not, yeah.
But I think about that performance every single day of my life. Um, Young, Dumb, and Broke by Khalid.
Excellent choice.
It feels like I don't have to explain that. Blue Jeans by Lana Del Rey, continuing by Lana
Oh,
Del
yeah.
Rey on every playlist. Um, that has a part but I think it's the second verse talks about how they don't have any money, so that's snuck it in there. This one's a little bit more of a stretch, but We Found Love, Rihanna, Calvin Harris.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. About You by the 1975, which is the one where I'm like I don't remember what my reasoning was here, but if I look
You
at the
don't need a
song
reason.
for a
It's a good
second.
song.
um I think I honestly don't remember why that was on there, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna just glance through the lyrics and I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was like, somehow the 1975 needs to be represented, and then my other one was my final one was She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5. And this one specifically doesn't really talk about like being poor, but it just I feel like you could also interpret a date and essa economia as more as kind of like a like you want to go on a date like in this situation.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of where About You and She Will Be Loved fell for me. It was less about financial status. Which is not necessarily what you meant when you gave me the phrase, but was the
No.
direction I
Oh,
took
it's
for
all
both
up
of the
into
playlists.
interpretation. I
So
love it.
yeah,
I
that was
love it.
fun. That was also fun
Excellent.
because I had zero memory of what I gave you, and you had zero memory of what you gave me. So,
That's how we
and
need to
that
do it. Just
happens even with the week, just like the 5 days. Like I'm like I no longer remember what I had
I'm
just
like,
because I'm so
what did I
focused
tell
on
him?
mine. All right, well that's this week's playlist game, and Jesse will get those onto our little link. Is it a link tree or you just?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
link
it's
tree on
our
our
link tree. I was pretty
Instagram.
sure it was a link tree. I wanted to say link tree, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to be wrong. Um, all right, Jesse. Somehow the two of us still have rants left in us.
We do.
This is the soapbox. We just want to get up on our, it's just an open time to rant or reflect. I have three.
I also have
None
three.
of them, one of them might be lengthier. The other two are kind of more just smaller things. How many did you have?
I have three as well.
Okay, why don't you start since it was your idea?
All
And I
right.
already talked about the
So
Pelicans. Oh,
for this
technically, I
one,
did.
I we got to get rid of the Pro Bowl. We got to get
Oh
rid of
my
the Pro
God,
Bowl.
it's a farce.
It's not even a farce. It's so bad. It's even cross past satire at this point. It's no,
It's
just
like
no.
if the Onion was writing about the Super Bowl.
Correct. We got Shador Sanders and Joe Flacco in the Pro Bowl this year.
Also,
It
why
means
was
nothing.
Shadur Sanders before Joe Burrow?
That makes no
What
sense.
is the criteria? Now, was Joe
There is
Burrow like,
none. That's the point.
and like, dudes will use this in 15 years when we're debating people's Hall of Fame cases.
He made a
Pro
Pro
Bowls
Bowl.
are still going to be brought up, not for
Yeah.
Shadur. Seems pretty unlikely, but for somebody, or even like hell, in 7 years, this Pro Bowl will count for Joe Flacco. And when we have to have that discussion about Joe Flacco, somebody will say, well, he was an X number of Pro Bowls. Yeah, but most of them didn't matter.
They haven't mattered in years either. It's a joke. It's a waste of time. And having it before the Super Bowl, I think fully killed it. It wasn't doing well beforehand, but having it before the Super Bowl 100% killed it because the best players are going to probably be on the two best teams. You know, you're missing a lot of good guys in that scenario. And it used to be a fun time for guys to go out and get a trip to Hawaii every
Mhm.
year that made the Pro Bowl. It was very, very different. It's over. It needs to
Yeah.
be done. Just name all-star teams. If you want to have a little get together for it, cool. But like still calling it the Pro Bowl at this point is a joke.
Here's what I think, right? Okay, you have two all-pro teams. Just make a third all-pro team. You can recognize the guys that would be the Pro Bowlers, but not on the all-pro team. Because the Pro Bowl rosters are generally all the all-pros and then like the guys that just missed that cut. Okay, so
Yeah.
then add a team. And then if you still want to do all these like fun little games, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
But making that the Pro Bowl is a joke. Like
it's
this
an
is
absolute
not the
joke.
same thing.
No.
Move on from it. Kill it. All right,
What's
that's a
your
good one.
first?
My first one is I'll stick with football since you started with football. And this was more topical when we originally were going to record, but I still think it's relevant. This Bills bullshit. All right. You fall short. You decide you need a coaching change, right?
Yeah.
Sure. That's a defensible position. You're the first team ever to make the divisional round like 6 straight years and not play in the Super Bowl. So you fire Sean McDermott and you say have your owner and your and then you promote the GM that has been horrible at his job for a long time.
Awful.
Um, Incredible career finessing by him. I know many people like Brandon Bean that have just managed to finesse failure into promotions. Good for him. You have the like the weirdest, like the most like insane presser I remember an NFL like ownership structure ever having
Yeah.
with all this crazy like throwing active players under the bus and being like, I walked into the locker room and I saw tears in Josh's eyes and I knew it was time to make a change and we need a new voice. And then you just promote the offensive coordinator?
It makes no sense.
I just don't understand like and maybe he is the guy that you want leading your roster and I understand why you do that to some degree. But you just look like a clown show of an organization to get up there and be like, we need a new voice in the room. And then the voice you choose is actually the voice that Josh has probably heard the most.
Yep.
And it's just like I don't understand going through all this. Don't even mess with the drama
It's
of being like,
performative.
yeah, it's performative, and to be like the locker room needed a change, and that change is just like taking one guy who honestly like he was a good coach. Sean
He
McDermott's a
was.
good coach. Is he an elite coach? Clearly, probably not. But
He's a
He's
good
more
coach.
established than I just don't understand. It's shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yep. It makes no sense to me, and it's fully performative, in
Yeah,
my opinion. All right. My second one is the fall of sports discourse. And I know other people have talked about this at length, so I'm
this
not
is
going
a
to
good
spend a
one.
bunch of time at it. But it I think of all the things that I've heard about the fall of sports discourse, especially at the professional level, is the person who said it the best was Tyrese Halliburton on LeBron's podcast. I don't know if you had a chance to see it,
I heard
but
some clips. Yeah,
pretty much that he was saying like there was no narrative for anyone. So then they made up the narrative as Tyrese Halliburton a superstar, and it's just lazy. It's just lazy reporting. It's lazy analytics. And what he's saying is like our run made people talk about basketball because we didn't have narratives on our team, so they had to manufacture this one, and it's so true. It's so true. And one of the things that made me the most angry was a guy like Stephen A. Smith who has such an ego about him that thinks he's bigger than the game itself and thinks that he's on par with these athletes here playing solitaire during the NBA finals when
yeah,
there are thousands of people who would wait outside in freezing temperatures for years just for the opportunity to cover one NBA finals game and you want to sit there and play solitaire like that. He is far from the only culprit, but he's the biggest one that I can think of. And it just sports discourse is so far gone, and it's very disappointing.
and I'm like ESPN is unrecognizable. Not that ESPN was ever like the top journalistic institution, but it's just a take factory, and the takes
Yeah.
don't even all make sense. Freaking Cam Newton was on a show the other day talking about when was the last time Notre Dame was relevant in football. Brother, they played in the national title game last season.
And
They,
they're still
they can't.
relevant this year because we're talking about them.
Yeah, they literally almost made the playoff. Like,
Yeah.
and I can't stand Darren Orlovsky. I think he just kind of like pushes.
Hack.
Yeah, I just like I don't know when the last and like this whole. I really soured a lot on College Game Day when they brought Lane Kiffin on and
Yep.
James Franklin on to basically like just like wash their hands of all their culpability and like what
Uh-huh.
happened in their situations and just the way that ESPN just like doesn't cover some stuff and like glosses over others and even the way it does cover it. Stephen A. Smith is also a clown, you know. I don't feel like we have to waste a lot of time on that. I'm not a McAfee guy. I'm just not. I just don't
Also
think he's a
performative.
genuine act. Yeah, also very performative and um there's a lot of like we could go into that, but yeah, it's just and there's so many people like the Stephen A. Smith on with Solitaire is great. I don't know if Caitlin Cooper was at the finals. She probably was, at least in Indy, but like she's the best person covering the Pacers
Yep.
right now. Just incredible analysis,
Absolutely incredible. I used to write with her when I was at
extreme,
Indy Cornrows. She is the
extreme depth.
best of the best.
Just knows more about the Pacers than like the rest of us will
Than
ever
the
in our
Pacers do. They
lifetimes.
know she knows more about the team than they do.
And like I hope that she had a credential, but if she did not and Stephen A. Smith did, that's the point. It's like we just don't have people covering the game anymore. We have
Yeah.
people pushing these narratives. And it's like exactly like, you know, there is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? What does that mean?
Who
Like
cares?
what
Who
is the like
cares?
you don't have to
He's
check
in
a
the
certain
finals.
box to right. Like clearly the team is good enough to win a championship. They were 24 minutes away. But like I just it's just this take culture and I just don't understand who it's for because I hate it. I feel like a lot of the people that I talk
Most
to
people that like
hate it
sports hate it.
and I just don't understand why that's where we're at and how that's happened. Um damn Jesse, we're gonna have to roll into another zoo.
We are.
That's unfortunate.
We were
Um
so close.
we are very very close, but I have two more takes and I
Yep.
think you have one.
Yep.
So we're gonna take a brief pause, come back, wrap this thing up with a bow. All right. Unfortunately, we have to take one more break, but we're back and we're going to close this thing out. My second soapbox here. This is, I don't know that this really needs a lot of discussion. I just wanted to kind of complain about it. And well, there is a wider point that I'm going to make, so maybe it will. So Amazon paid $8 million for the rights to MGM. They paid an additional $1 million to have the rights to all the James Bond catalog. Those movies are available on Netflix. They were licensed out by Amazon to Netflix. So my point here, what are we doing? I just like the streaming and all these rights things that we're doing here. Like just nuke it all, go back to cable, and then have like one. I'm sorry, in this one case, I'm going to advocate for a monopoly. Just pick somebody, maybe mandate
One.
the price. And I just like, I don't understand. Like, if you subscribe to Amazon for the James Bond catalog, which you probably didn't, but like some people might,
Yeah,
or that's part of why you subscribe to Amazon Prime. And then you're like, oh, I have to go to an entirely separate app to watch those, even though Amazon holds the rights for those. It was a big deal. I saw it on Netflix, and I was like, I swear Amazon bought all that. Yeah, they did.
that
And
did.
they just were like, we don't want it here, Netflix. We got to make back some of that $1 billion we paid. So like here, Netflix is going to give us like probably a lot less for to license these movies. So good news if you want to watch James Bond movies and you have Netflix, but bad news for just our society's streaming content in general.
Yeah, makes no sense. And ironically, mine's not entirely in the same vein, but maybe in the same circulatory system here. Um, Streaming sports teams, man. What
What are
it
we doing?
it's impossible to figure out where to watch your team, right? And here's my issue. It's no secret that our economy sucks and that everything is expensive, right? So if I'm going out of my way to spend money to watch my team, right? Let's say for MLB TV, I buy the Cardinals package for the year, spend $120, right? Ends up being a good deal. It's less than $1 a game if I get to watch every single game, right?
Mhm.
Not horrible for the
If
full
that's a big
season.
if.
That's a big if because that's a long year. It's a long year. But and it's the Cardinals and we're awful
It's
right
also
now. But
just like not true because they black you out no matter what. Anyway.
exactly. And that's where I have an issue. If I pay and you say, watch the full season for this, why am I having to go to Apple TV Plus to watch them? No, I don't care that you have it on that network. I paid for them to watch it here, right?
Yes.
NFL, forget it, right? You got to pay for Sunday ticket, $400 a year, so I can watch the Colts disappoint me year after year,
Unless they're on
right?
national TV, and then
Right.
they're required to have a different package.
Exactly. I can't watch them there. If they're playing Jacksonville, I can't watch them because I'm blocked out, right? And then the NBA, sadly, for all the flaws that the NBA has and everything, they actually have the best one, I think.
It is, yeah. Somehow, I cannot believe that's where we landed because that was not the case for a long time.
No, but it is way too difficult to watch the sports teams that I love, and it's way too expensive. If
Yeah.
you buy a full season of the NBA for your one team, not the entire league, you buy the one team for MLB and you buy Sunday ticket because that's the only option. There's no single team Sunday ticket option, right? You're spending probably north of $700 a year to watch your favorite sports teams if you're out of market.
To have
That's
partial access to
to have
watch your
partial access.
team.
Right. You're not getting all of it. So I can't imagine if I'm someone like if I'm a fan of the Chiefs and I'm living out of
Oh
market,
God, yeah.
right? I cannot believe how much it would cost to only get like half the games,
Yeah.
right? And what else are you going to do, right? Not watch your team? So to
Right.
me, it's very predatory in my opinion, and it's incredibly frustrating that not only do we have to pay a certain amount, I get it, there's TV rights, there's all this stuff, there's a lot of money into it. Cool, I'm willing to pay that amount. Let me watch every game,
Yeah.
right?
And even if like let's say you're an out of market, we'll use the same analogy. Let's say you're an out of market Chiefs fan in like, I don't know, San Francisco. You can't even watch the local team because they're blacked out because they want
Yeah,
you to go to the game. Like
yeah.
it's an asinine system that just was designed more for when stuff wasn't so gobbled up or gobbledygook, and now it's even worse, and it's not sustainable.
And for me, as a fan of sports, I am much more willing to pay for merchandise for different things if I'm able to watch my team more often. It's just a
Yeah.
fact. Do you know how many Pacers jerseys I bought last year? Just because I was just so invested into what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right? If you scale back and you make it more accessible for people to watch, right? And I'm very thankful for the life that I have, and I'm very thankful that me and my wife have, good work and everything, that we get paid consistently. I'm very thankful for those things. But sports should be a rallying thing for a community. And the fact that it's so difficult to watch anyone is infuriating. And I feel like I see every single year there's some provider, like whether it's YouTube TV, whether it's, back up north with Spectrum or whatever it might be, whoever it is, there's some sort of dispute every year where they're like, well, you need to call them because you're going to lose watching the Colts.
Our hands are tied.
Our hands are, they're not negotiating. Figure it out.
Yeah,
Figure it out. Right? I'm over it
I
because
agree.
a lot of these places, especially you said, even going back to cable, they're monopolies in the area. They're regional monopolies. So you don't really have a choice. So to me, it's incredibly frustrating. I think it's intentionally all over the place, and it just creates more of an issue for us as fans to try to access the teams that we love.
It's just another unfortunate. It's just becoming so expensive to be for everything, truly.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, on the period of enlightenment, less critical than, like basic needs. But it's
Right.
just becoming so expensive to be a fan of a team or a musician or anything because prices just continue to skyrocket. And it just sucks that you just like have to choose. And like people are always like, oh, well, you could go like watch the games at a bar. Like, what if you don't like to do that? What if you can't afford to go out and
Right.
eat
What if
and
I
like,
just want to be home?
yeah, what if I just want to watch like throw the Pacers on a Tuesday night and
Yeah.
just like have them on in the background and like exist? And it's like, well, you can unless they're on this or this or this. And oh, well, they're playing a team that's 4.5 hours from you, but you're part of that media market, so they're blacked out.
Yeah.
Just
Why am I getting blocked out of the Miami market?
it's a great question, man.
That makes no sense to me. Real quick, before you get to your last one, we do have our breaking news on here. Matthew Stafford was named
He did win the
MVP.
MVP.
Yes, oldest quarterback to win the award for the first time.
Good for him. And May will
Yeah,
Drake May will have other chances, I believe.
I agree.
Good for Stafford, man.
Yeah, it's good for him to have one. Another one to add to the resume that I think is a Hall of Fame career at this point.
Think so, yeah. He's got
Yeah.
the MVP, the Super Bowl win, Super Bowl MVP.
Mhm.
A lot of passing yards,
A lot of yards.
a lot of stats.
All right, what do you need to get off your chest?
All right, this one will be brief. Did you see the Flash movie a couple years ago?
Yes,
Yeah, it was bad, wasn't
it
it?
was very bad.
Yeah, guess who's the creative team behind the upcoming Brave and the Bold Batman Superman?
No way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
James Gunn, brother. I'm gonna hit you my new theme for the my catchphrase, I guess, for the soapbox. What are we doing here,
What are you
dude?
doing, man?
I just look, he may believe in their abilities, but
I don't.
the backlash was and the backlash critically and commercially was such that like you got to try something different, dude.
Yeah.
You got to do something different. This is a tentpole superhero movie where there was like CGI babies being stuffed in microwaves.
Yeah.
That was a plot point in the
Oh
Flash
yeah.
movie. And that creative team is now in charge of the Brave and the Bold. So,
That's disappointing.
yeah.
That's gonna be a not day one watch for me.
And unfortunately, it probably still will be a day one watch for me, but it's concerning to say the
That
least.
is very concerning. Hey, we do love a good redemption story on this pod, so hopefully, you know,
Christina Hodgson, you're on Redemption Watch, but you're also on like complete excommunication exile watch.
yes,
So
we're not even on fraud watch anymore. You
no,
gotta fix this
she
or
is certified fraud. So we'll see.
the big leagues are calling.
Jesse, was that the last one?
That was it.
Anything else you want to get off your chest here? 2 hours in.
I got a lot, but it's not for the pod.
Oh. Well, we'll save. I'm sure we both have more to say. Shockingly, I know we've been doing this for a while, but we'll come back next week. We'll have some new topics. We'll have some new ball to talk. Probably a little bit of Super Bowl, but we're excited to talk more hoop. Just more pop culture, of course. We're gonna just keep on rolling and keep spilling it, as the kids
Yeah.
say.
Fantastic. Long live the LBC JVCs.
Long live the LBC JBCs. All right,
I have a
Jesse.
shirt idea.
It's been yeah, we're gonna start selling merch for the Long Beach Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers. Honestly, we probably can't sell anything that says Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers, but we JBCs we probably could get away with.
I think we could do it.
All right, man. That's all for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. I would
Peace
say
out.
same time, same channel, but that seems audacious, so
That's
probably
bold.
not. But
We
we'll be
might not
back
even
at
be
some
back next
point in the
week. Who
future.
knows?
Yeah, we'll be. This is not the last episode of the pod. That's all we know for sure.
Yes.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, follow, rate, review, all those good things. Share with your friends. Our top loyal listener Becca puts us on at the bar she goes to every week. So you could be doing that too in your local joint. So
And also, if you're hearing this in that bar, please subscribe to us. It's much easier to
you
listen
might
to
as well.
us.
I mean, you've heard enough of us at this
Yeah,
point.
you've heard more than the average population has, so
Like and subscribe, like be on the ground floor.
yeah.
I don't know where else to go from there. We're gonna call it an episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.